Otley, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, while I, of course, read the agenda point, it says data for 2020, 2022. However, data for me is not just numbers. I would have liked to see at the end of the presentation the minister's plans to improve said data, and that is missing. I just saw a screen full of numbers, and while the numbers are important, it missed the gist of what the minister's plan. And to the Honorable Minister, through you, Mr. Chair, also, is there data on literacy, numeracy achievements, data on special needs schools, data on curriculum reform? What are our kids failing with? What percentage of our kids are failing due to, whether it's mathematics? See, I've always said one of my favorite quotes, and I repeat it: if you judge a fish on the ability to climb a tree, it'll go its life thinking it's not up to par. And that's because we have a one-track curriculum. And I have a master's degree in civil engineering, but when my car breaks down, I have to go to my friend who doesn't have a high school diploma that fixes my car. And I say that to say this: he is skilled, but had he known his talent and his skills before being conceived or judged as not up to par and not being able to graduate, because I see in the presentation given to us, there's also a section where some students do not qualify for exams. He was one. If we adjust our curriculum from early, then we would know who have skills with their hands, who have mechanical skills, and where we can adjust and send them before time. And what this would do, me graduating from a high school in Atlanta, I had people who graduated with mechanical degrees that graduated and walked the same stage as me. Different curriculums, different class, started with me, graduated with me, high school, different curriculum. What does this do for our statistics? It decreases high school dropouts. That statistic is now decreased. While the minister is newly appointed, the reality is the minister is appointed. And I am lacking that from the minister, which is the minister's view. I heard for the budget debate, but I wanted to see how can we increase certain specific data. And when I hear data, it's also mentioned through you, Mr. Chair, that take into consideration that it's COVID-19, this period. So the numbers are tainted, whether negatively or positively, but the numbers are tainted. A lot of kids did not go to school during this time, and there were also unforeseen circumstances, parents losing their jobs, so maybe some kids did not return. So it'll be interesting to see the later years, and hopefully some of these numbers can increase where it deals with absenteeism. There was also data on the amount of teachers that are non-Dutch nationals. I did not see the data on the amount of students that are non-Dutch nationals. Very, very important. There are kids born here, go to school here, but unfortunately, on paper, they're not viewed as from here. Do not obtain their residency, does not have their passport, hence the reason we are pushing to finally address the LTU issue. Also through you, Mr. Chair, the data that I see is up to high school. And I think that is a problem that we, as a community, as a country have, and as a government, that we figure after the kids leave, whether it's to America, to Holland, it's no longer our responsibility. And that is the problem, because how are we going to build our country if we do not keep tabs on these kids that go away in order to bring them home to build? I am a product of this. The minister is a product of this. Went away, got her education, and now the minister of ECYS. This is the type of data I need to see on the amount of students that return home as well. Through you, Mr. Chair, I think one of the colleagues touched on the school bus. And to my recollection, in the budget as well, there was, and I heard the minister's plan, was to implement whether it's surveillance on the school buses, and this was cut during the budget. Correct me if it's wrong, and Minister, is this a part of the amendment to come later, whereby we see many school bus fights? We saw the other day a student and a bus driver was in a fight. We had a situation months ago where there was an accusation against a bus driver, sexual accusation. The former minister handled it, but all of these are accusations whereby sometimes it becomes your word against my word. So the rest of the world, we see on the school buses, there are surveillance cameras that keeps our kids safe. What is the plan? I also hear about the TEWEO report, and I want to remind the Honorable Minister through you, Mr. Chair, TEWEO works alongside you. So you carry out your plan through you, Mr. Chair, and the TEWEO works alongside the minister. So regardless if the minister is new, if the minister has a plan that the minister wants to carry out, stand your ground and carry it out through you, Mr. Chair. I think for now, I'm going to leave it here. And if there's any other questions, I'll be sure to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Otley. MP Labega has the floor.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Sir Chair. Thank you to the Minister of ECYS and her support staff. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to inquire the failure rates for the lower forms. I see that in the presentation they have form 4, 5, etc. But I think it's very important to see what's the rate, the number of some of the lower forms, their failing rate. Also, as MP Utley alluded to, what specifically are they failing in? Math, science, English, Dutch, etc. And what is the exact criteria for passing and failing? Is it the same throughout all the schools? To the primary schools, is it a specific grade? I know in the States, a lot of us went, it's like a 64. Is it a 5? What exactly constitutes a student staying back? And also, for students who stay back, if they just miss the mark by a small margin, is there a possibility for them to go to summer school, take a course during the summer? I know the St. Martin's summer is not as long as some other countries where in America you have 3 months off where you could take classes. But if a student just missed the mark maybe by a math or a Dutch English exam or point, what have you, how do you foresee them taking a course so that they don't have a whole year behind and they're able to propel on to the next school year? And that will be all. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Labega. MP La Cruz.